Say what?
Hello and welcome back. It's time for Say What, where we hear from those connected to the industry about what's going on in our world of electrical apprenticeship. And yes, I'm saying it again, it includes the topics you've suggested to us. So please keep those coming. I'm your host, Cindy Sandifer. It's good. No, it's great to get to know each other better. And that makes this another fantastic moment for all of us. Today, we will hear from Taylor McCaskill, the Assistant Training Director at the Chattanooga JATC. Taylor, I want to hear all about you. And I love that you and I have this connection of the Knoxville JATC. We talked at NTI, just kind of more about your story. And I know you and I have kind of kept up on email, Facebook, all that stuff. But I'd love to kind of go back to we don't have to go to birth, but let's go back to the beginning of your journey in the. Yeah, right. I was born on a cold winter night. But go back to, how you got introduced to and into the electrical industry, if you will.
Absolutely. So I went to Tennessee Tech and I have a bachelor's in exercise science with a concentration in pre-physical therapy. And because I wanted to do aquatic therapy. And to be honest, if I could snap my fingers and everything just swap and I just had all of the credentials and everything was set up and ready to go, I'd probably still go back to that. But the position I was in when I graduated college, I was working as a technician and I wasn't able to get full-time work, and I wasn't, I was going to have to go to grad school, which was going to cost probably $100,000, and I wasn't going to be able to work during that time. And it wasn't looking like an option because my undergrad, I went to school on scholarships and grants. So luckily I didn't have a bill to pay or take any loans for undergrad, and I didn't want to do that for graduate school. So after realizing that and processing that, I was like, okay, let's just look at something else that's going to make me some money that I can start moving forward in life. And so I was a sales representative for a couple of years for a home medical company. I did a lot of oxygen and CPAPs and BiPAPs and home trilogies and all of that sort of stuff. And I hated it because I started looking at patients like they were dollar signs. And that's not why I got into helping people. And I knew I needed to make a change very quickly. So I actually started looking at welding because I did some welding in high school and loved that as well. It's like, okay, we'll just completely flip the script. And my second cousin, he is a IBEW electrician up in Oak Ridge, and he got word into my ear like, hey, you should check out the IBEW and the apprenticeship. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. We'll just see how it goes. And that was November. I submitted my application in December, and I was accepted. Knoxville's is very quick. So they have their application period open for a very short amount of time, and then it turns around very quickly. So I got my letter that I was accepted, and I was like, oh, okay. That happened very quickly. So I started on May 1st of 2018. At the same time, they inducted me in as the secretary for the Renew Committee. They swore me in early so I could serve on the board.
That's so wild.
That's wild, right? Because that's who helped me. Jeff Richards. He was the one that kind of helped me get into the nuances of how to work this system. Of these are the steps you need to take, right? And so, so that kicked off in that same period of time through the Renew Committee. I actually met my husband, my now husband, who was a apprentice, a fourth year apprentice in Chattanooga. And so that's an interesting story in itself. And it was because of Renew that we even met. And anyway, that's another story. That's one of my favorite.
So great. Yes, I'm like, oh wait, the love story.
It's one of my favorite. Yeah. So we got engaged and we got married, and I transferred down to Chattanooga from Knoxville. And since then, in my was it my fourth year or my fifth year? The hall. Sorry. Let me back up. They tried to do a inaugural leadership academy through the hall, and they were recognizing the top 5% of the school. And so I was in that, and that has its own story as well, but that took place. It didn't take off like they had hoped. But that's okay. You got to try stuff, right?
That's how you learn, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's how you learn. That's how you put those feelers out and try to figure some stuff out. So after that, the hall also put my name in with the NAB2 for the Tradeswoman Hero Award. And I won that the next month. And I didn't think that was going to be I was like, oh, that's thousands upon thousands of really awesome women being nominated. And it was instant. I was like, and it's actually, it's
on your wall.
There.
Oh,
yeah.
I see it.
So that was really cool. And then graduating, I was Apprentice of the Year, which out of a class of just shy of 100. It was a really large class.
That's a big deal.
That's a big deal. They choose 3 because we had 3 graduating classes, and they choose one from each class. And still, though, that's really awesome to be in that kind of position and have that recognition and wear that badge with honor. Upon graduating, they hired. I told them that I was interested in being an instructor at some point in time. They hired me as an instructor, and so I took that and ran with it. And we had a change in hands, and I had the opportunity to apply for the assistant directorship. And here I am, a year and a half post grad, as the assistant director now. So, and it's kind of surreal at times because there's no reason that it should have happened that fast, but it did. And so yeah.
There's no reason and there's all the reasons. Do you know what I mean? It's like one of those where I get it. It's like, this shouldn't be happening. And yet, yes, it absolutely should be happening. Mm-hmm. Sometimes things are just meant. You were meant for it. They were meant for you. It's all of that. I'm just I'm tracking back. You invested so much time and energy, and I'm sure commitment and passion into this degree you sought, and got, and you wanted to help people and you wanted to do this work. And then unfortunately, just the way things were at the time didn't pan out the way you would have loved for it to, right? So there was that moment of it not working out and it not being fast. And then it's like grad school, debt, not going to do that right now. Can't work. It's all these things are happening. And then you try something else because you're like, okay, medical field, that's where I'm at. I'm going to try that. Didn't work because of the focus being on, money more than people. And then this happenstance, right? A cousin.
Yes.
Saying, hey, so, and then things just start falling in line. So the first thing, it's like, it should be happening to you, right? Because this was meant to be. The other stuff wasn't. And you and I, so I'm thinking when you were talking about the dates, because you started in May of 2018, you said, in Knoxville. So I was there because I was working as the assistant director in Knoxville until April of 2018. When I came back
missed
here.
You then.
I was around for your application, your testing, probably some of your interview, that part. So we just barely crossed paths. But I mean, just like, oh my God, you get this career, you get in very quickly, you meet your husband or future husband, right?
Yeah,
Then you're able to transfer there, which that's a big thing. Like
that's a
sometimes
big
people
thing
need to
too.
transfer and it's hard. It takes
Yes.
time. Like that's not always fast. So that happens. Then, like you said, like NAB2, like
Yeah.
a NAB2 award, like pause there for a moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I have no idea. I can't
Yeah.
explain it.
No.
I'm just here for the ride.
Yeah. And what a fantastic, yeah. And then, but again, then like the instructor, the training director, assistant training director position. Because I think when we saw each other at NTI 2024, you had either just gotten it or you were interviewing for it. Now I'm not
Yes,
remembering.
I had just applied, and they had
Okay.
told me that um, they wanted us to interview, and they had pushed our interview back until after NTI.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so
Yeah.
it
So
was
that's
still
right.
like,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, they even read my application, kind of
Right.
situation. Because as a greenhorn, like it was like, oh, we'll just toss my name in the hat and just see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Because we had so many wonderful candidates. We've got such a great staff here. And folks that could have just really done fantastic. And like Michael, Michael is perfect for this position. He's fantastic for it.
Yes.
But there were so many people that could have taken this position and done really great things with it, and that had been in the field for a long time and had that knowledge and had that experience. And to have this opportunity, just I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready.
Yeah. You weren't ready and you were completely ready. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Again,
yes.
we're back to that. Like,
back to that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's the beauty of it. It's like there are times when, yes, it needs to be that experienced or more because you were experienced. You had been through certain parts of this
Yes.
process. You had done what you've done. And I just don't think it should ever be this is the only type of person that can be an instructor or a training
Right.
director, a committee member, or what have you. It's like we need to look at this holistically. What's best for our program, what's best for our apprentices, what's best for, it's
Yes.
just like sometimes, yes, it's that veteran, right, that's been doing this for forever and they have all this experience and wisdom and knowledge. And sometimes it's that freshness, that newness, that person that has risen quickly, whatever, right, to the
Right.
top, and they're going to bring something that nobody else can. So again, I think it's just, and I love the Chattanooga folks. Like those are my people.
Yes.
I love you
Yes.
all. I want you to, okay, so we were talking about something earlier that I want to come back to because
Sure.
you all have Ella, and Ella is the training director's dog.
Yes.
And she hangs out there and she's a therapy dog, like a trained therapy dog. Not like I would call my dogs my therapy dogs, but they're not. You know what I mean? Like
she's actually, as a quick correction, she's actually more than a therapy dog. She's a service dog.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
yeah,
okay.
it goes even deeper.
Yeah.
And she's Michael's pet, but then he trained her and has her certified as his service dog. And so she does get to come and hang out with us pretty much every day. Very rarely is she not here. So,
and she gets to interact. You all have had, and we don't have to get into all the experiences, but like she's in the classroom, she's in the interview room.
Mhm.
Like we were just talking about that. Like,
yes.
because it's such an intimidating moment for someone. And so she's there. I'm just, here's my plug for all JATCs to do this. I'm kidding. I know it's not for everyone. There's people that have allergies. There's people that don't like dogs. Like I get all that. But I just think it's this really like, maybe it's more common than I realize,
Mhm.
but I've not heard of it. But you were saying she's able to kind of ease nerves, classroom,
Yes.
interviews, whatever.
It's really awesome to watch her work because she works instinctively. Her service is in psychological, right? Without going into too much. So she picks up on deep anxiety and those type of psychological and depression and all of that. She picks up on that really strongly. And so it's really great to have her in there during interviews when these young kids, maybe this is their first interview of their entire life. And it's not a one-on-one interview like a normal, job. You've got, on our board, we have 6 people plus the director and the assistant director. So that's 8 people that you're just that you've never met before, possibly. And you're just kind of talking, and the spotlight's on you, and you have no idea what to even expect. And these kids get extremely anxious. And it's really cool to see Ella like walk over and put her head in their lap, and they're petting her under the table. And you can see a sense of calm kind of just wash over them really quickly, actually. So
Yeah.
It's really cool to see.
It's so great.
She does pick up on those that are like even like the stronger anxiety. She picks up on those, and those are the ones she like hones in on. And sometimes she just kind of sits there in the corner. If she picks up that they're not that nervous, they're just like, yeah, this is cool, whatever. So
she's just there.
It's fun. Yeah.
I love it. I just that to me was so great. So thinking back to you, right? All the different things we've talked about in your journey. If someone's listening, and they can identify with all of it, some of it, like, how would you encourage that individual? Maybe they're struggling with career, like this thing didn't work out that I've invested in. I'm thinking about electrical, not sure. Or if, maybe someone on your side of the table now, right? That assistant training director, committee member, instructor, that's like interacting with people who may be coming from your experience. Like, how do you encourage in these moments?
So luckily I'm the dispatch for the CWs. Michael takes a lot of the apprentices. I do some of those, but I'm a lot of the CWs. I am those green guys. I do, and I go to high schools a lot. So I am talking to those guys that are like, I have no idea. I encourage people just to like get out there and just kind of do some research on different trades. And we have opportunities where they can come to our school and tour our school and come see us and hang out for however long they need to, ask questions. I like to make sure that they also have all of the information. I don't like to hide any information like, hey, it's gonna suck for the first few years, but then after that couple of year mark, it starts getting better and it starts picking up. You start seeing that light at the end of the tunnel. But it's all about attitude with these guys, and that's what we tell them is you can go and this is what I tell everybody that comes in my door is what will take you the furthest is if you show up and show out. So showing up is half of the battle. Just be there. Even if you might not be the fastest on picking something up, or you might not be the best at bending conduit or doing this or doing that, but you being there is worth so much, because you can't learn and you can't do if you're not there. And then showing out is do your best and show up with a good attitude and ask the good questions. You don't want to sit there and like hound somebody. Question. But that's my biggest advice for people is just show up and do the best that you can.
Right.
So
yeah, be open, be willing to learn and grow. And Taylor, thank you. First of all, thank you for being a part of our industry. I'm sure the folks in Chattanooga would be like, no, we're so glad she found out about us. But just thank you for all you've done, and especially for taking time today to share your story. Because I just think these connection moments between us, right, all of us, really kind of lift us up, encourage us, bring us joy and ideas. It's like, oh, I didn't think about that. Or, I know someone who maybe I wouldn't have reached out to, but now I'm seeing it, they would be great or they could be great. And so I thank you so much for your time. And I know you're busy. You've got interviews going on today, but I just really thank you for taking time to share with us.
I'm so happy that I was able to, that we had the time and we can facilitate this partnership.
Yes. And it won't be the last time we chat about things.
No, I'll see you in a couple of months.
Yes. And we gotta come back to the love story. We've got to come back to a few other things at some point. So yeah, there's some follow-up here.
Oh, goodness.
There is. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you again so much. Yay. Another great story. Great journey through electrical apprenticeship and the industry and going where you're supposed to and meant to go. I love Taylor's story. I loved that I had a little moment with her without even completely realizing it. But to hear her journey and see where life took her, it makes me excited and also very sure that this has happened to a lot of us, especially you, the listeners. But huge thanks to Taylor. Taylor, thank you for sharing your story with us and for all that you do for our industry, especially those folks in Chattanooga. And for taking a very busy day to talk with us when you're doing interviews. I know that can be, stressful. We look forward to all the great things that are in store for you, Taylor. Big, big thanks to the listeners. Thank you for taking time to join us. And remember, we want to hear from you. If there are topics you would like us to cover, or if you would like to be a guest, send me an email, saywhat, SAYWATT, at electricaltrainingalliance.org. Please stay connected with us through our newsletters, blog posts, and be sure to follow us on social media, subscribe to the podcast. Stay powered up, and we will see you next time.